Hey guys, so something I've seen many runners struggle with recently is the first Ansem fight. This fight is one that took me many years to finally figure out how to go fast at. Now before I get into this video, I want to say that these tips on this fight that I give you, it's not going to make you a god at this fight. You will still struggle with it. This fight, in my opinion, is one of the hardest fights in the game to get consistently good times at, but hopefully these tips will help you cut your average time that it takes you to beat the fight down. So, a few things I'm going to cover in this video is how I do each of the two openings that Ansem can give you. There are two attacks he can open with, and I handle each one of them very differently. I'm also going to cover how to keep Ansem in a corner. This is probably the hardest part to deal with. Sometimes he'll just get out of the corner and fly away, and there really isn't anything you can do about it. The last two things I'm going to cover on the fight is how to deal with Goofy pushing Ansem out of the corner, and what to do if you get submitted. To note though, these are things that I personally like to do on the fight that helps make the fight a little easier for me. This doesn't mean that this is the only way to do the fight. If you are consistent at getting good times on this fight, but do something completely different, by all means, keep doing what you're doing. Like I've said many times in the past and in other videos, Kingdom Hearts is a game where something that works for one person might not work for others. But hopefully this video will help you cut down your average time on the fight. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, so as you can see, I have a controller cam set up. This is mostly to show what I do at the beginning of the fight. One thing to take note of is how I hold the left analog stick upright. And as the fight loads in, I mash out a dodge roll. I do this at the beginning of every fight to set up for if Ansem gives me the disc attack at the start of the fight. So here I do get the disc attack, and after dodge rolling, I simply just jump towards Ansem a little bit and swing. This will take a little bit of practice to get used to, but doing this is a pretty consistent way to parry a disc back into Ansem. And so that's how to deal with this opening if Ansem gives you starts the fight out with giving you his disc attack. So let's quickly jump into the other attack that he can do, where he comes up to you and swipes at you. So as I said earlier, I still hold upright and dodge roll, just in case I do get the disc attack. First thing I do is I simply just jump over his swipe at the start, and then I start to combo him. I do a full combo and try to knock him back into the corner we want him in. Then I do a few more hits until he brings out his Guardian. Now, this is where the strat differs for me. Instead of using R's, I like to just walk behind him and attack him, causing the Guardian to retreat back behind Ansem. The reason I do this is because very often I have R's to not stagger him when he is this far away from the corner. Also, Ansem doesn't try to attack me, usually, when he's this far away from the corner. And this can make the fight a little more difficult to deal with, just because it could cause Ansem to do some unpredictable things. So after I do the hit from behind Ansem to cause the Guardian to go back behind Ansem, or to have Ansem attack me, I do a few air combos on the front of Ansem, simply to just push him back into the corner. And then at this point, once you get Ansem into the back of this corner, the fight is exactly the same as any other Ansem fight. So let's go ahead and look into the rest of the fight and things you could do to try to help keep Ansem stuck in this corner. So from here, I just do a few air combos to push Ansem into the back corner here. This is the corner you want Ansem to stay at for the entire fight. After doing a few combos and staggering Ansem a few times, I do an Rs. I can't really explain the timing I use for this Rs, as I just go completely off of feel. But you want to start the Rs before he brings his Guardian forth. If you are too late or too early with your Rs, Ansem can not stagger and he can also not attack you. But one thing to note about Rs in this fight is you never want to use any of the bashes. Once you press triangle for the Rs to come out, you do not want to hit triangle again. Instead, you want to get ready to position yourself where Ansem is in between you and the corner, just as I do here. Even if Ansem doesn't attack you or he doesn't stagger, because you use Rs a little too early or a little too late, you still do not want to use any bashes during Rs. You still just want to position yourself so Ansem is in between you and the corner. Then, once his attack finishes out, start attacking Ansem back into this corner. And for the most part, that's the entire fight. You just want to combo him a few times to get him to bring out the Guardian, Rs during it, without using any bashes, and then attack him back into the corner, staggering him, causing him to bring out the Guardian, and it's just rinse and repeat. And as you can see here, I do get hit a few times. Getting hit doesn't really matter in this fight. The only thing that matters is that you keep Ansem in between you and this corner. Now, how to deal with Goofy pushing Ansem away from the corner, and what I do when you get submitted. Now, both of these are pretty hard to deal with, so don't get frustrated that your fights don't end up like mine do. It took me about 4 attempts to even get a fight that had both of these things happen, but even though it's hard to do, it is something you can kind of keep in the back of your mind, and hopefully it'll save some of your runs. Alright, so I start the fight here like normal, attacking Ansem back into the corner until he brings out his Guardian, and then I Rs through the Guardian. But as you can see, Goofy pushes Ansem away from the corner. This will almost always make your fight terrible. There is something you can do about it, however, though it is difficult to react fast enough to do it. So, you simply just dodge roll towards Ansem, and like all the other fights, you want to put him in between you and the corner. So, hopefully he'll back up into the corner, and you can start attacking him further into it. The thing to note here is that I did not use Rs. The reason being is because he is too far away from the corner, he'll probably not get staggered from the Rs or have his Guardian attack you. So this is where you'll need to react a little bit to what is given to you. After walking behind Ansem, if the Guardian swipes at you, as he did here, just walk back in front of Ansem, because you need to start attacking him into the corner, otherwise he'll just fly away from the corner. Now if he just keeps the Guardian out and does nothing, you want to attack his back once to cause Ansem to call back his Guardian. Then immediately after doing that, get Ansem in between you and the corner, and start attacking him back farther into the corner. The other thing you need to keep note of and kind of react to is you have to be able to judge how far away Ansem is from the corner whenever he brings out his Guardian, because as I said earlier, Rsing through it if he's too far away from the corner. At least for me, he tends to not stagger, nor does the Guardian try to attack you. So as you see here, I ended up going behind him a second time before I started to Rs him into the corner. Now, This doesn't work very often, but it can work as you see here, which is better than just accepting the fight has gone bad and dealing with the time loss. So now here's what you want to do if you get submitted. At least this is what I do, and it seems to work for me. After getting submitted, I usually heal immediately. The attack does a lot of damage, and losing a few seconds to heal is always better than dying. Remember you have Leaf Bracer at this point, so just plant your feet on the ground and heal. So hopefully he comes up to you, and you can immediately Rs, as I did here. Then after the Rs, look at your command menu to see if you can safely attack. Once you can, start mashing out air combos. I prefer this over just using Rs for a few reasons. One, you may not have enough MP to spam Rs at this point in the fight, and two, because of the terrain, Rs tends to whiff a ton, at least it does for me. So I like doing air combos where I can guarantee that I am doing damage to him. Then after about 2 combos or so, I set up to doing other Rs if needed. And there you have it, guys. Hopefully these tips on Ansem will help you start shaving down some time on your average. Or maybe it'll just help you be a little bit more consistent with the fight. Again, these are just the things that I try to do that helps me with the fight. Doesn't mean that these are the best or the fastest way to deal with the fight. This is just what I personally like to do. So yeah. As always, if you have any questions on the fight, either leave a comment and I'll try to help you out as much as I can. So with that, thanks for watching, and y'all have a good one.